All right. Hey, well, good morning. I'm Meteorologist Ben Peine. It has been at 10 for this Wednesday, August the 6th. Happy hump day. We've got actually some fairly quiet August weather on the way, heading back to kind of dog days of summer kind of weather, meaning upper 80s, low 90s, kind of a long stretch of that kind of weather here for the rest of this week. So rain chances starting to go down for the rest of this week, and then maybe kind of going up as we head into early next week. So we'll kind of go on that Ben on a limb segment a little bit later on in that forecast. And then we've got a special guest on the show. It is Wednesdays with Weddington. So local custom home builder Brad Weddington from Weddington Custom Homes will be on the program here in about 10 minutes or so. So if you have any questions for Brad, certainly with anything around the home, as I say, from the roof to the basement and all around the yard. I've got that little banner scrolling across the bottom. If you got any questions, feel free. And you can always head to WeddingtonCustomHomes.com to learn more about his services and his home building across southern Indiana. So thanks for joining us on the show this morning. We'll take a live look outside. It is pretty much all sunshine out there this morning. I do think we are going to see more sunshine than we've seen over the last couple of days, and that will make it a little bit warmer as well. So we're talking highs today in the mid to upper 80s. UV index is high at a 9. Easy to get that sunburn out there. And as we take a look at the radar and satellite across the region, all is pretty quiet. You can see a lot of sunshine with, we're kind of in between systems. You can see a complex of storms out in Iowa, and then over the mid-Atlantic, there's some rain there. And in between, as we look at the sky overhead here in southern Indiana and into the Commonwealth, it is, again, mostly clear. So if we do see maybe like a 10% chance of a pop-up shower, very small chance, mainly east of I-65. So there's not much popping up on the weather models, which we'll see here shortly as we start to dig into that weather model data here in just a little bit. So thanks for hopping on our show this morning and dropping in the comments. As always, if you have any weather questions, if you just want to say hello, good morning, feel free to do that. Also, let us know where you're watching from. You might be watching on my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, Extol Weather on Facebook, or Extol Media on YouTube. Thanks for liking or subscribing and getting us out there to more folks. And also extolmag.com/weather. Beverly Haggis always wins for the first one to pop in from Borden, Indiana. Christian Walker watching up from Indianapolis, from the Carmel area. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Always some of the first to pop in. And again, as we bring up this page right here, this is Weddington Custom Homes. Again, we'll talk to Brad here in just a second and learn more about his expertise and his background and his history in home building in our area. Also, if you want to, you can head over to extolmag.com/weather. We've got our live stream up, our 7-day forecast that I posted here this morning. You get your interactive radar and a lot more weather tools. Your severe weather outlook for today and tomorrow, which is 0 for us, thankfully. No risk of severe weather, no watches or warnings for our area. And of course, there is the interactive radar. And as we look at the current temperatures, we are starting off here lower to mid 70s, so not feeling too bad whatsoever. The humidity really wasn't bad. I don't know if you were out early this morning, but you may have seen some fog, some foggy spots out there, thanks to the clear sky we had overnight. But again, pretty quiet conditions all across the region and just a very calm wind out there, light and variable winds throughout the region for today. But as always, anytime you want, you can stop over there at extolmag.com/weather, and you've got all your Southern Indiana weather tools right there. Seeing a couple more faces popping in to the program this morning. Be Local 502. I can attest to the rising heat in Fern Creek, south of the Snyder. So yeah, it is. We're going to be ramping up that heat here a little bit. Joshua Teal, thanks for the good morning here. And Linda Lawrence from New Wash there in eastern Clark County. Thanks for watching here, Linda. Thanks for popping in the comments as well. So we're going to get to your forecast here in just one moment. First off, I want to thank our partners. Of course, we can be here because of them, and of course, 100% because you are here watching the show. So Lions Roofing, local company out of Memphis, Indiana. They got you covered, literally covered with your roof. up in southern Indiana, but also across the river in Kentucky. They can help you out. 812-294-3595. You get your free estimates right there online as well. And if you click on the careers button, you can find that link to the roofing repair technician job opening there. And of course, hand in hand, if you had any roof damage, you might want to contact your insurance agency, see what might be covered. We can get you covered here with American Family Insurance as well with Michael Long. Proud to be an American Certified Agency Excellence in Customer Service. You can go to amfam.com and just search Michael Long. There you can see his name right there. Or just give him a call if you want a quote. It might be your home, your car, your side-by-side, your off-road vehicle, maybe a cabin you built out in the woods you want covered. 812-578-3072. Now, Libs Paving, here, libspaving.com, L-I-B, as you can see there, as in Ben, S, paving.com. Top asphalt paving contractor around. Upper right-hand corner is Careers. And you can find out all about their company, their offerings, services, benefits, and look at all the job openings here. Click on the Learn More right there. It will take you to that job, and you can apply online right there. You can also level up your career at ivytech.edu. Head up to the locations. So we're going to be live out there on campus tomorrow talking about all of their partnerships. They got partnerships with military families. They've got RN program, 42 other programs, and counting. And so you can find out a whole lot more just by heading online, or you can get to Tuesdays at the Tech here. You can register for one-on-one help, learning about tuition and aid, filling out FAFSA, registering for classes. Coming up August 25th are the fall sessions. So again, here in just a moment, we'll be talking with Brad Weddington from Weddington Custom Homes. This is WeddingtonCustomHomes.com right there. And also, I want to remind you, at any point in time, you can email me, Ben, at extolmag.com, if you have a weather question, or if you want to partner up with advertising marketing solutions here in southern Indiana and beyond, here at Extol Weather and Extol Media, you can just email me, Ben at extolmag.com, Ben at extolmag.com. So getting into that forecast here, yesterday I got a chance to spend a little time with my daughter Hannah. We had a fierce competition out on the tennis courts there at the Borden Park, and 2 Wednesdays from now we send her off to college, to IU. So just trying to soak up as much time as we can here. And we're looking at a storm over Louisville yesterday. If you're from Louisville, you may have had some of that heavy rainfall. That was probably around 8 o'clock yesterday evening. But on the back side of that storm, I could see these pouchy looking clouds. These are mammatus clouds. That comes from the Latin word mama or mamma, which means pouch or breast. So that is where they are named from. You can kind of see why. So if you see a mammatus cloud, that is a turbulent sky and usually a pretty strong thunderstorm that creates that. So there you can see kind of the pouch-like feature there. And those clouds are the favorite, I posted this yesterday, of the former head of the local National Weather Service, John Gordon, and you can find him at Mammatus Man on the X platform. That's how much he loves these clouds. Mammatus Man is where you can find him, and you can find a lot more cool weather pictures there if you follow him as well. So take a look at the facts here. I was looking back at July, and not because of the high temperatures. The hottest we got in July was 95. The record high is 107 in July. But the reason we were the 5th hottest July on record because the incredibly warm nighttime temperatures, the hot summer nights, got us to 83 degrees if you average out the highs and the lows. So the hottest July, 2012. Then you got 1901, and then you had a tie there at 3rd and 4th place. And then this year, July, just think about all the hot spells you've been through in July and August, all the heat waves, the record heat. Well, we were up there, just to give you some perspective, mostly because of the incredible hot nights. All right, here's your weather headlines for our August 6th, mostly dry weather pattern. Getting a bit warmer day by day. Some 90s will return in the 7-day forecast. So we've got kind of a typical hot August weekend, kind of your Kentucky State Fair weather, which is not too far off here in mid-August. 82 at noon today, 87 for that afternoon high. Some urban areas around the concrete and the asphalt, you might top out a degree or two warmer than that. I've only put a 10% chance rain for this afternoon, mainly east of I-65, so that means most areas will stay dry, and again, just a light and variable breeze. UV index is up to a very high level of 9 for today. I'm seeing a lot more comments popping in, so we'll get to your comments here in just a second too. So thanks for joining the weather conversation and making this your show, even though it's called Ben at 10. It's your show. So today, here's your forecast summary. Most stay dry, mostly sunny, light and variable breeze. And we're looking at temperatures right about average for this time of the year, and our sunset at 8:47. 70 degrees our low for tonight, mostly clear and a bit warmer, and just a very light breeze, just kind of a typical summer night for tonight. Look to your forecast tomorrow for your Thursday, August the 7th, around 70 degrees out the door. And then we're looking at upper 80s for high temperatures, so near 90 degrees for that high temperature tomorrow, and most locations staying dry. So you can see we've pretty much taken the rain chances out of the 7-day forecast, as it's going to be primarily dry. I just put that little word above the 89 on Thursday, isolated, super small chance of any kind of pop-up afternoon shower. Cruising into the low 90s as we cruise into the weekend, 91 back-to-back Friday and Saturday, and then 92 Sunday into Monday. We may get a front to move in next Tuesday and Wednesday to give us an increasing chance of some showers and some thunderstorms. Just looking over a couple of your comments here that will be popping up. You may see someone has just popped in here as well. So we're going to talk to this guy here in just a second. Perry Porter, we've got a good morning there, looking nice weather. I don't like that the days are getting shorter. You're right about that. We lose about 1 to 2 minutes of daylight per day, which means a minute later sunrise and a minute earlier sunset pretty much every day. Angela Epperson, good morning. Happy hump day. Happy hump day to you. Loving the morning sunshine. Have an awesome rest of your day. Gallbladder surgery in the morning. Send up some good vibes to Angela. Prayers to you that everything goes very well for you. We've got a good morning from Salem, Indiana, with a yuck. I'm guessing from Vicky Berger that is with the heat back on the way. Tammy Morton with a good morning. Thanks for tuning in here. And Vicky's giving you some encouragement with the gallbladder surgery. It is a breeze, so good luck there. Mike Sievert, good morning with the sunshine. And Michael Long, we just talked about Michael Long with an AM fam. Warm and dry, great weather for the golf or the tennis, which I got to play yesterday. How are we doing, Brad Weddington?
It's nice to be in the studio. It's a little different. I'm used to being in my backyard, but good to be here.
So this is Brad Weddington. Oops, I chopped off the top of your head with your own logo. Don't worry about that. But I've got you on the right side, so there you can see Brad's name there. So if you have any questions, by the way, about your home, it might be something that is frustrating. When a home gets a little bit older, I call it whack-a-mole. You fix one thing, and then something else pops up. Something else can pop up. Usually Brad is in his backyard if you watch Wednesdays with Weddington here on Ben at 10, and we'll interview him there. And what I found fascinating, every time we've had you on, the weather's been nice.
I know.
We haven't had any storms, and once again, like today's just kind of
it's a nice day. I don't know. Maybe I just bring the luck here. I don't know.
Bring the luck, but also you bring the conversation to fill time on a boring weather day. So I appreciate that.
Hey, I told you before. You ask me whatever, and I'll answer it. So
yeah, you're not shy about talking.
No.
So we've got a good morning. Love your shirt. Thank you very much, Lillian Lasley. I've got a bunch of these shirts as well. Weddington Custom Homes. So make sure, let us know you got your mic's on. Everything's good here, Brad. I believe you're all good. No one's saying it's not. I'm just going to double check the audio and video. Make sure you're. So I'm looking at. Yeah, we're good. Just watching our own show here this morning. So again, if you have any questions for Brad, let me know. I just want to talk about your history a little bit. So we had a connection before you started your custom home business with a mutual friend, Andy.
Yes.
Which you're going to go say hi to here in just a bit in New Albany. So Brad is a little different in a good way because we needed some financial advice along the way with our custom home building. And you were a financial advisor before. You were a home builder financial advisor, and then home builder once again. Am I getting that right?
You got it right. And the funny thing is, I was a home builder already, worked for home builders before I went into finance. And the first house we built as Weddington Custom Homes was your home. And you knew me as a financial advisor first and a builder second, which is odd because everybody else viewed me as a builder that happened to be a financial advisor. So did that for about 2 years. Really did enjoy it. I enjoy the financial aspect of it, helping people out with their finances as well. It didn't fit my personality. Wearing a suit and tie every day really wasn't my gig.
I'm happy that we were the inspiration.
I remember telling Andy, because he was my business partner at the time, I was like, this small book of business, hey, you can take it and run with it, Andy. I'm going to go back to building houses, which is what I know how to do. And I've been doing that, I guess it's been about 12 years that we've had Weddington Custom Homes, and had our ups and downs like anybody else.
Sure.
But every project is a unique challenge. Every personality is going to be different. So it's a very unique business that we do. One that really doesn't afford us to get really, really large. And the reason for that is, we're not replicating the same thing time and time again.
Yeah.
I've done that, rode that horse. Matter of fact, when I worked for a production builder that we did 200 to 250 homes a year, and I managed a parcel of about 40 of those. So to go to doing 8 to 12 custom homes, that takes just as much energy, if not more, than the 40 production homes, because it was replication.
Copy and paste before, Yep.
It was more of a production line type thing. And it worked. It worked for the price point that we were trying to hit. It just, to me, it felt too factory-like. And I knew that we could do some really cool things. So let's do this custom thing and see how it plans out. And like I said, there's learning curves, back to the whole aspect of every house being different and unique. That means every house presents different and unique challenges. Most of the time, like I said, when they replicate the home, they figure that out on house 1 or 2, and they made those adjustments. Well, we're building this thing once, and that's it.
That's where the term custom.
Right. So those little oddities that pop up on floor plans that they adjust along the way, we don't have that ability because this is it. This is what we're doing. This is the house that we're doing. So it's fun. Every property's different. Every house is different.
From the get-go, got credit Brad with like making our dream come true, because we got land at an incredibly cheap price.
We did.
In southern Indiana, and it was difficult to build on land, no doubt about that. Super hilly. Our septic system is like a quarter mile back in the woods because it's the only flat spot. And there were challenges along the way. One of the challenges for us was, financial, which it is for a lot of people. It's financial, but so you allowed it to happen. We did go with another builder originally, and we're not going to name names here or anything. Awesome guy, but we just couldn't afford it. And then you came in and allowed that dream to come true. Now that was your first house.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd do it again, but. It was great. It worked for you. It worked for me. And life is about timing. It worked out that way. We had that mutual friend together. That's how we met. And I was anxious and champing at the bit to start my own thing. So we got the Brad discount, but you helped me too. It was perfect timing because in 2013, when we were starting to build, the rates were like super low. The land costs were super low. The lumber costs were super low. And so we did build out at a perfect time. Now, every time's not perfect, but if you are wanting to build, a lot of times you're saying don't necessarily wait for that perfect time, because let's say that, and I'm not an expert, I'm going to throw this on you here in a second, but if you're waiting for that perfect rate, so to speak. Well, if you build and say your rates are a little higher originally, you could wait till they go down and refinance or something like that. You could, and without trying to sound cliche, we always say, you marry the house, you date the interest rate. So to me, if you're waiting for the interest rates to go down, guess what? Everybody else is doing it. So as soon as I can't predict the market, nobody can, but to me, from a common sense perspective, it's a supply and demand scenario, and the cheaper money gets, the more the demand's going to rise.
Right.
So the supply is going to drop. Therefore, the pricing's going to increase. It's the nature of the beast. So to me, if especially if it's family land, I'm in a little bit different boat. I'm not building spec homes. Back to what we were saying again. I had a conversation with the guy that does excavating for me yesterday, actually. He has deeded over some land to his son to build a house. And we were talking about types of floor plans. And he's like, he wants to stay around 1,800 square feet, but he wants to do it on a slab instead of a walkout basement.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, there's a spot on that property that lays perfect for a walkout.
Yeah.
If you're building a house to sell it in a couple of years, go ahead and build that slab home, do your thing.
Right.
But most of the people I deal with, like I said, it's family land, and this is going to be their forever home. So I told him, I was like, have him save a little bit of money to see if he can do that basement.
Yeah.
Because
you're going to run out of room.
Yeah. If you've got an 1,800 square foot house on an unfinished 1,800 square foot basement, you're really never going to outgrow that house.
You know what you're going to do? You're going to build a barn.
Yeah. You're going to build a barn, don't store all your stuff.
We got a question here for you, Brad, from Michael Long. And I've got a similar question to this. Our windows on the home will condense in high humidity. Is this a sign of an insulation issue, or maybe time to look at replacing the windows? Home was built in 2001. We bought it in 2012. Just add some extra info there.
So anytime, and I was talking to the homeowner about that this week, actually. Anytime you have extreme heat outside or extreme cold outside, your window pane, you've got a double pane glass. Some of them have a argon gas inside of that. Some of them are just a vacuum. But if you've got, call it, with the heat index and humidity close to 100-degree temperature outside, and you've got 70-degree temperature inside, you've got a 30-degree discrepancy in a half-inch air gap.
Yeah.
It can't handle all that. So it's going to end up condensing just a little bit at the bottom of that window.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I do suggest people to do is when it's really hot like that or really cold, it's going to do the same effect on the really cold. Crack your blinds. Make sure that your fan on your furnace is in the on position to circulate that air. Because if you get some of that air to wash over the face of that window, it's going to help with that humidity on it.
We've had it happen on the back of our house where it's shaded. It'll happen every once in a while. But on the front where it's like sunshine, it doesn't really happen at all.
Yep.
And when you get that dew point so high in the 70s, and you've got air conditioner on inside, that window pane is like, say, 72 degrees or whatever. And even though, like you're saying, there is that barrier in between, if you cool the air around that window to the dew point, it's going to create dew. And it's going to create some moisture.
Exactly. Not only that, actually, the newer your home is, the higher your humidity level is going to be. Okay. Over time, some of that humidity drops out, because you got to think about, when we're building this house, there's drywall mud that goes on the walls. Okay. There's hundreds of gallons of that. That's got to dry.
Right.
There's paint, close to 100 gallons of paint that's got to cure. There's all this humidity that was introduced into your home while you were building it that it's got to dry out.
Yeah.
And that takes a couple years, but even then, back to your window situation. So if your windows are from 2001, one thing to really think about is it was either 2008 or 2009. The government said, no more low efficiency windows. Every window has to have a certification. So that changed late 2008, early 2009. So if your windows are from 2001, it's probably time to replace them. I know that's an expensive.
But how much of a bother? If it's not much of a bother, do we need to go?
If it's not much of a bother,
like the HVAC isn't going up crazy.
As long as your utility bills are staying in check, that's a big thing. Is utility bills in check? Because let's go to another aspect of cooling your home, or not just the windows. Let's look at the heating and air system again. You have to constantly cool that air, and you have to constantly move that air. We have a house right now where they have a screened-in back deck, and they had a little spot of mold on the ceiling in their living room. And I was like, how did that, where'd that come from? So I went up into the attic and looked, and nothing dripping down, nothing like that. It's the highest point in the house, so that's where all the heat's going to go to. I'm like, how did it do that? It's not a big spot. Well, they've got little kids, and they've got sliding glass doors to their screened-in deck. They've been having their kids out there playing while they're cooking and leaving that door wide open. All of that humidity comes right on in.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to go to the highest point and get stuck, which is that vaulted ceiling.
We didn't have mold, but we had like a little water spot from like the
Exhaust fan?
like in like our kids' bathroom, because it was just such a tight area. And then also, I think because I went up in the attic, we had a little spot in our bedroom. No pipes, no leakage, no windows, nothing could cause it, except I think we had a storm and the flashing by the chimney
Healed up.
maybe a little water got in there. It hasn't happened since.
Yeah.
So
it's been a rough year. It's been a rough year for us for humidity, because we've had like exhaust fans in bathrooms. Never had any issues out of those at all. And we're getting some of them, we're getting condensation around the ring where it touches the ceiling. So we went up in the attic, and I mean, we had plenty of insulation mounted up on top of this housing for this vent. But when we peeled that insulation back, you could wipe across the top of that and feel moisture. I've noticed it more than ever. And again, I can bring up this graphic here for you. There might be a reason we're noticing this more this year than normal. And fifth hottest, not because of record high temperatures, because of record mugginess. And record mugginess means your nighttime temperatures can't drop. And so we had the fifth hottest July because of the warm nighttime temperatures. And so that means this is a record amount of moisture in the air. Yes. So, and it's gonna find its way into your house no matter. So the biggest thing in these really, really humid, sticky, muggy, nasty days, keep your door shut in your house. That's a huge thing. Keep that fan on your furnace in the on position. Circulate that air. Big things like that. Once we get through this stint, you'll be back to normal. Yeah. We'll battle it again in the winter on the opposite side. But, when you have that drastic of a temperature from outside to inside, and you've got one little, double pane sitting there separating those two areas, you're going to get condensation. It's the nature of the beast. If you don't have condensation, that means you're leaking a lot of your inside air to the outside. So now you're battling high utility costs. So it's not a catastrophic problem. Yeah, it's not.
We have Michael Long saying, great information. I'll tell the wife you guys said that she needs to buy us new.
You do that if you want.
Yeah. Or save it for one of your toys.
Yeah. Well, and another big thing, age of windows, big thing. Air conditioning is outside. That's something to think about too. Everybody says, well, they don't make them like they used to. Well, they don't. They're a lot more efficient. There's ratings on air conditioners, and the best way to equate that is like miles per gallon. Okay. So the industry minimum in 7 or 8 was a SEER rating of 10. Okay, so they have a SEER rating. So a SEER rating of 10 is basically the best way to equate that is you're getting 10 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Okay? Then they changed it to 13. Now it's 14.5.
So I was 13.
So yours is 13. Yeah. So the efficiency has steadily increased. So even if your old 20-year-old AC is keeping up, when you look at what you're paying, your outflow for utility costs, if you're running an old 10 SEER system and the standard now is 14.5, I mean, that's roughly 45% increase in efficiency.
Right.
So that's something to look at too. It's if you need to upgrade it, think about that. Think about the efficiency of the newer system. But if it's not hurting your back pocket on a monthly basis, keep rocking the old one as long as it's working.
Right. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah. I mean, if it's working, don't. Yeah. Just maintain it.
All right. So, Weddington Custom Homes, your name is a familiar name in Clark County. Just talking a little bit about your history. You've been giving us tips on Wednesdays with Weddington for months now. But let's talk about you and your family history. A lot of folks know you guys. Your dad owned a tire store back in the day, and
I grew up in a tire.
Tell us a little background about Brad Weddington.
I think it was the summer I turned 13. I started slinging tires in a warehouse in the summers. So I worked for Dad through the summers. From the summer I turned 13. And then I wanted to do something outside of the family. I wanted to stake my own claim, start my own thing. I didn't want to go into the tire business. I wanted to do my own thing. So I actually started framing houses. I didn't know anything about it, nothing. Like, I was the lumber carrier, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was the go get 10 2x4s.
You're learning on the job.
And I thought a 2x4 was 2 inches by 4 inches. I mean, I had no idea it was 1.5 inches by 3 inches. Okay, that's how ignorant I was to the whole process. I was like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna do this. So I started framing houses, and this was back in the day when, if you went to college, you could still stay on your parents' health insurance.
Yeah.
So I graduated high school. Semester was coming up for college at IUS.
What high school?
Charlestown High School. So I graduated from Charlestown, went to IUS, would take classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Learn how big a board was.
I was going for business management, so I took classes at IUS on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and then I framed houses Monday, Wednesday, Friday, which kind of tough.
Strong work ethic.
But it was cheaper for me to take, at that time, to take a 12-hour full load at IUS and stay on my parents' health insurance than it was for me to have a standalone policy for health insurance.
Yeah.
So I was doing that, and after about 2 years, I think it was my sophomore year of college, my parents had 2 tire companies. One was doing okay, one wasn't doing so well. So I dropped out of college to run one in Charlestown. Dad went to the one in Scottsburg. After 4 or 5 months, he got out of that business altogether. And so I went back to building houses, but at this time I went as a framing supervisor for a company called Classic Truss, which is based out of Clarksville.
Still around,
big company now. And when I was with them, our largest customer was a production home builder out of in Louisville. And that production home builder hired me from underneath the Classic, and I was with them for 4 years.
And Classic did art.
Classic did your framing.
Yeah.
So I was with that company for, like I said, 4 years. 2008 happened. I was a production home building manager when nobody wanted production homes. So I went back across the river, back to Indiana side, and went to a company called Premier Homes, which ironically is owned by the same guy that owns Classic.
Yeah.
So I went to Premier for a handful of years so I could figure out how I could do this on my own. Actually left there for the financial route.
Right.
Then I returned back to building.
Yeah.
So something that, it's one of those things, once it gets in your blood, and I remember when I was young, 18 years old, carrying lumber, there's an older guy and he's like, you'll never quit doing this. I was like, yeah, well, and this is just a stepping stone. This is the stepping stone to the next.
I mean, it's all about timing.
It is, and it worked out. And I do love what I do. I love seeing old, like in this building, the old exposed brick. I mean, it's just neat building methods that are unique to what we build too. So that's a little bit about my history. I kind of ground up learning type aspect of it. So I always tell people there's 2 different types of builders. There's builders that are businessmen that happen to build houses. I'm just a builder that happens to be a businessman.
There you go.
That's the difference.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much for getting on, Brad. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in below. Thank you, Sherry, for that. I just dropped an audio a little bit. Got a little bit hot there with the mics. But thanks so much, Brad. Again, local home builder. I can pop up this right here. Let me get rid of this, bring this up. And if you ever have any questions or you want to learn more about custom home building, maybe you're in the market for a home, you can head to weddingtoncustomhomes.com. All right, we're going to get back to the forecast. Thanks for popping in the live studio this morning here, Brad.
Good to see you.
All right, we'll see you later.
See you guys.
You can turn the mic off as well, whatever you want. Or we'll hear them talking over on the other room. All right, thanks, guys, for tuning in here. We're going to get back to the forecast. And we'll go ahead and drop this off here. And in case you're just popping in, here is a look at that forecast here for today. Your weather headlines for our August 6th, mostly dry weather pattern and getting warmer. Again, we do have a hot weekend on the way as we're heading back to kind of typical August weather. Let me make sure one more time my mic is not too hot. Looks like that is about the right spot for the audio levels. And mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. Hopefully we're not peaking anymore on the mics. All right, so the play ball forecast here for today, 87 degrees this afternoon, just a very small chance of a pop-up shower, especially east of I-65. As we look at the weather models here in just a second, we're going to see that there is not much popping up on the weather models. UV index is a very high level of 9 today, easy to get that burn. And so just sun protection this time of the year, don't forget about that. And looking at a high of 87 degrees, most will stay dry, just a very light and variable wind out there. Our sunset at 8:47 tonight, 70 degrees. Sherry, thank you very much. Thanks for the assist, as I was dropping the audio levels a little bit there. Forecast here for tomorrow, 83 degrees at noon, 89 for the afternoon high. So we're ramping up those temperatures a little bit here day by day, looking at more 90s than 80s over the next 7 days, and more dry days than wet days, as we're looking at maybe a front that'll try to move in next Tuesday and Wednesday to give us a shot at some rain. Now, look at the Saturday. So if you want something to do, the Sunnyside Vintage Festival, Dan Hardesty's running this, local gentleman here from New Albany. This is located at the District, 845 East 15th Street in New Albany. To give you some perspective, that's not too far right out the front of New Albany High School there. Saturday, this August 9th, 12 to 6 p.m. If you're into vintage items, vintage clothes, check out that event that is happening. So we've got that going on here, and let's go ahead and start to dig into the weather model data here. Here's a look at the radar and satellite. Again, very quiet conditions. You can see a storm system off to our northwest over Iowa. That's not really ever going to come our direction. And then some wet weather over the mid-Atlantic region. There is still tropical storm Dexter out in the Atlantic Ocean. I can go ahead and bring up the tropics here. And there you can see Dexter. So this is just a sign that the tropics are becoming a little more active. Maximum winds at around 50 miles per hour. This is moving off to the northeast at around 14, so really not impacting anyone just there over the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Now, one thing I do want to bring up as far as the tropics here, you can go anytime you want. Say you've got a vacation coming up and you want to know what's happening in the tropics, if anything's heading your way. Really, the best resource is the National Hurricane Center, nhc.noaa.gov. You click on any of these areas, it's going to tell you what's happening. One thing that I was kind of curious, and we'll look at the GFS weather model. This will likely stay over the open waters of the Atlantic Ocean, but this has a 60% chance. This is a wave off of Africa, 60% chance of tropical development over the next several days. So it says a tropical depression could form late this week or over the weekend as the system moves generally west-northwest over the central Atlantic. So that's kind of one thing to watch there and see where that ends up going. And we'll take a look again at the weather model data and check that out. El Devo, good morning. Got you on the YouTube today. Thank you very much. Thanks for tuning in there. Thanks for liking or subscribing there on the YouTube. All right. And as we head over here to the models again, pretty quiet weather over the continental United States. I'm going to go ahead and bring up the current temperatures. We'll look at, the dew points, of course, very important this time of the year. That's kind of your comfort forecast. Really the only thing that makes a dramatic change this time of the year, is the dew point. So notice you got your typical desert air out here over the west. I mean, they're feeling fantastic there in Colorado. Then you've got normal humidity here. So I'm going to do a flat face here. They've got the low humidity. They get the smile. And then down here, this is where we get the frown, because that is really, really high super tropical dew points there. But I mean, some of that is going to be heading back our way. We may get dew points back heading into the 70s before not too long. Look at temperatures across the United States. You got 50s out west. Again, that's your feel-good spot this time of the year. You got down in LA, 66 degrees. And then, of course, we here are in starting to rise through the 70s. And then there's already temperatures mid to upper 80s down over the Gulf Coast and into Florida. Again, we know what that's like. We had that kind of air all through July, making it the 5th hottest July on record. So we don't want that to come back. We just have kind of typical, we can deal with it, humidity across our area. As we look at the future radar and look ahead here with, we'll start off with the HER weather model, which we pretty much always do if you ever watch the program. Oh, El Divo, Laura DeVore. There we go. That was a different comment coming in there. Thanks, Laura, for popping in the YouTube. 80 at Lillian's house. Have a great day. Thanks for that weather report there. So this is looking ahead as we zoom in a little bit closer to our area at any maybe possible shower. So we got to really zoom in here. This is at 3 o'clock today. So east of I-65, maybe a very small chance of a little shower. You can see it's like 10% chance or less here. The model's really not picking up on much. This is at 5 p.m. and here's at 6 o'clock, and then there's 7 o'clock. So you can see most of our area is dry. Where's the higher rain chance? East Coast or to our northwest. There's just not much to kick up a shower or thunderstorm out there. So things, again, pretty quiet overall. As we look at the NAM 3-kilometer weather model, just to compare and contrast here, this is another high resolution weather model going into this afternoon, and it shows a little bit, southeast of Lexington. This is at 3 o'clock. 4 o'clock. So this is at 5 o'clock today. Notice it's the same kind of trend, seeing just a little bit better chance east of I-65, and even that is a pretty small chance. Got a good downpour over Louisville yesterday. Again, I showed a picture of the backside of that thunderstorm with the mammatus clouds that we saw yesterday from that strong thunderstorm. But there you go. Pretty isolated in nature for today. Here's 6 o'clock and then right around 7 o'clock today. So perhaps that lone little pop-up shower, the cumulus clouds grow big enough to produce maybe that lone, very, very isolated shower for today. And some of you probably need that rainfall. I've been getting the rain dodge at my house here for the most part. And so may have to start breaking out the hose more and more as we start to lean towards a drier weather pattern. Some of the farm fields starting to get drier as well, even though all year long we've had a good amount of moisture level in the ground. So things are trending, again, drier and drier. Now, as I bring up the GFS weather model, we're going to look at the precipitable water. We've been doing this for weeks now. This is where we're looking for relief. But again, the super tropical air, and yes, I know it is humid out there, but this is tolerable humidity, kind of normal. And then this is not tolerable. This is the really, 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 really sticky stuff, the wall of mugginess there over the southeast. So we want that to stay over the southeast. But as we look ahead here, we'll probably just push this forward to Saturday the 9th. And there you can see an increase in the tropical levels out to our west. Yes, it is going to be humid here, but not, again, out of control levels. We'll go ahead and go to the 10th. So that'll be, actually, let's jump ahead to the 11th. So this will be Monday. So starting to see some tropical air there. Also, let me go back here a little bit. So the GFS weather model, take a look at that. Look at the swirls. Let me get my face out of the way so you can see this. I just think this is interesting. The swirls would be tropical storms or hurricanes. So there would be one down here over the Pacific. And then this swirl right here, maybe another one here. So we're looking at the tropics starting to light up, getting more and more active. So let me go back to, like, say, Saturday. That's the 9th. Let me go just a couple days from now. Let's go to the 8th. So today's the 6th. So we're going to Friday the 8th. And so, yeah, again, getting busier out over the tropics. So this is Dexter that's out there moving to the northeast. Maybe a little development off the coast. This is the wave that we're watching there. So we're looking at the potential of getting busier and busier in the tropics. Of course, the national news loves to talk about the tropics. So we'll see what develops. Again, you can see these swirls out there in that tropical air. All right, so back to us. Let's go to next. So the 11th is Monday, 12th is Tuesday. So next Tuesday, tropical air is back over us. We'll go to the 13th. Now, it's interesting. The European weather model actually trying to give us a little bit of relief, bring like middle of next week. So this would be relief right here, that drier air that we loved so much last weekend, trying to push some of this mugginess to the south. The GFS and the European weather model kind of flip-flopped, where the GFS now keeps it muggier for longer, and the European weather model trying to give us some relief. So with that said, a lot of question marks of what actually is going to happen as far as some relief next week. Day by day, we'll just continue to watch that trend and see if we can get Canadian air to win out. But look at this. Always use a cool visual here. So that is the drier air that we would love. And then this is, of course, all the tropical air down here. So GFS has the tropical air winning next week. The Euro flip-flopping and giving us a little bit of a break. The European weather model as well, or the Canadian weather model, perhaps giving us a little bit of that relief too. So there is your relief tracker. And by the way, since we are looking that far out, that means, and this is Lily and Lasley's favorite thing, it's been on a limb. Meaning that we are looking at the long range forecast. Cheers with Big Happy here, by the way. So that is the long range. Let's, instead of looking at the humidity, let's go ahead and bring up a different product here. And that would just be reflectivity, meaning the precipitation chance. And into, so let's start next Tuesday the 12th. Bear with me here. Let's bring it back up. Okay. That's next Tuesday afternoon when we may start to see some rain chances increasing across the area. That's next Wednesday. Not much. We're going to start wanting the rainfall here pretty soon. It's funny, the weather where we live. I mean, it's too wet, then you want dry days. Then you get dry days, then you want some wet days. It's like, it's hard to get our weather to behave exactly how we want it. That is for sure. Robert Simpson saying, starting to fear the swirls. So far, they're staying out in the Atlantic Ocean. So that's where we want them. They can swirl all day long out in the oceans, maybe affecting some of the shipping lanes. But Lily and Lasley, you're welcome. Thanks for tuning in here. We'll take another live look outside, wrap up your forecast here at 10:50. And there you can see the beautiful blue sky that we have at the corner of Market and Vincennes here in Uptown New Albany. Live look there. Somebody taking a stroll. What is the track of hurricanes? This time of the year, you get waves off of the African coast. They cruise across this tropical central Atlantic, and then you hope that we can have them turn away from the coast. But as we head towards September 15th, that is the peak of hurricane season, and that's when the chances of the hurricanes impacting the United States goes up here over the next couple of months. We're starting to see more activity in the tropics. So you kind of got to wait and see. The tropics can chaotic and somewhat unpredictable. So you never quite know. All right, so getting back to that forecast here for you, and I just want to give my daughter a shout out for playing some tennis with me last night, and a very competitive match. That is Hannah Peine, who in 2 Wednesdays from now will be heading off to IU Bloomington. So we're trying to relish every day that we got. It's not easy on mom. It's not easy on dad. Don't forget the dads out there that also have to deal with this transition time of life for parents and the children. Barbara Braden tuning in here. Have a nice day. Hannah is an amazing tennis player, by the way. And then we saw last night the mammatus clouds. So if you look at the word origin, mamma or mama, so that's where it comes from, pouch-like looking clouds. Shout out to John Gordon, former head of the National Weather Service, Louisville. That's his favorite cloud type, and you can find him on the X platform at Mammatus Man. He always produces some great weather content. So you don't see those too often, but if you see a cloud like that, you may start to hear the thunder, see the lightning that's attached to a thunderstorm, and it indicates a turbulent sky. It's kind of the opposite, reverse convection. Convection is when the clouds are going up, the cumulus clouds. Well, this is little pouches of cooler air sinking down, and what creates that cloud type. So pretty cool to see that. And again, a summary of July. If you're just popping in, we talked about this about 50 minutes ago. Not because of the high temperatures in the afternoon necessarily, but more because of the record warm low temperatures created the 5th hottest July on record. Thankfully, August is behaving. Mostly dry weather pattern. Christian, not seeing a hurricane out there. There's just Dexter that we showed earlier. So it's not really causing any problems. I can put on the tropics here for you in just a second and give you an overview of what is out there, though, as there's just not much happening at the moment. There's one in the Pacific and one in the Atlantic, but I'll get back to that here in just a second if you stay tuned. So your weather headlines for your August 6th, mostly dry weather pattern, getting warmer, and then a hot weekend. Today's play ball forecast, most areas will stay dry. If you were watching the weather model data a little bit earlier with the high resolution rapid refresh weather model, the NAM 3 kilometer, it just showed just like one little tiny shower, mainly east of I-65, late afternoon, early evening. Only about a 10% chance of that. UV index is a 9 today, plenty of sunshine, 87 the forecast high, and just a very light and variable wind. Not much wind to mix things up. Our low tonight, 70 degrees, mostly clear and a bit warmer. Tomorrow's forecast, around 70 out the door, 83 at noon, and 89. So this is not a heat wave. This is just normal heat. Our normal high is 89 degrees through about August 19th. Then we drop to 88, and then we continue to drop for the rest of the summer, kind of day by day as we get past what is typically the hottest part of the year. Sunrise 6:51 and sunset at 8:45. Our 7-day forecast, we've got lower 90s on the way, starting to see a little more 90s than 80s, but still not too far off from normal. Mostly dry days for the rest of this week and into next weekend. Another shout out to Dan Hardesty and the Sunnyside Vintage Festival this Saturday, located in New Albany at 845 East 15th Street. So check it out. That is 12 to 6 p.m. if you want to head out there for that. And bringing back to Christian, wanting to take a look at the tropics. So the only thing out there is this. That is Dexter. That's a tropical storm that's heading off to the northeast, way over the Atlantic. And then way out here in the Pacific is Henrietta. That is a tropical storm there, tropical cyclone. So things are going to get more active, and we'll kind of start updating you more on the tropics as they do become a little bit more active this time of the year, kind of like clockwork as far as the tropics. All right, one more shout out to our partners. We just had Brad Weddington, if you missed that. Big, long interview all about local custom home builder Brad Weddington, Weddington Custom Homes. You can find him there at weddingtoncustomhomes.com. and Lions Roofing. Again, these are our partners. We are here because of them. It allows us to do what we do, but 100% it's because of you that we can be here. So thank you for watching our show this morning here on this happy hump day, August the 6th. LionsRoofingCo.com, 812-294-3595. They got you covered on this side of the river, protecting your most valuable asset for a lifetime. Get free estimate right there online. And 812-294-3595 on the Kentucky side of the river. They will help you out as well. And they've got a job opening, roofing repair technician right there. And of course, roofing companies got to work hand in hand with insurance companies. I recommend you head to amfam.com. Michael Long, proud to be an American Star certified excellence in customer experience. I highly recommend you to give him a call to maybe get a quote. If you do, let him know I sent you. 812-578-3072, amfam.com, and then just search Michael Long. And then Libs Paving has a bunch of job openings here. If you have a family member, or maybe it's you that wants an employment opportunity, maybe a new job, new career, there are plenty of opportunities here at libspaving.com. Head to the careers section. And if you want to level up anytime, you can head to the Sellersburg location, ivytech.edu. We're going to be live out there on campus tomorrow, by the way. Tune in. Excited to get outside, outdoors. 42 programs and counting. They've got it all. If you want to go check out, maybe you're bored with what you're doing, you want to level up, you want to do something different. Maybe you're a high school student and you want to be a sophomore in college when you get out with the dual credit programs. You can learn a whole lot more online, or you can sign up for a one-on-one visit with Tuesdays at the Tech. You can learn about tuition, FAFSA, all the ways to pay for that. It can be a little daunting, but they can help you cruise right through it here at ivytech.edu. We never did get a chance to just take a live look outside here with the Falls of the Ohio Foundation.org camera, just looking at full force sunshine across the area. Just a few of those little cumulus clouds, likely produced by the moisture that was laid on the ground yesterday. It evaporates and then develops this little thermal there, and you'll have a little cumulus cloud. And eventually, later in the afternoon, you'll see those cumulus clouds grow a little bit bigger. Right now, it is not forecast to hit Florida, Christian. But again, we will pay close attention to that for you day by day. And again, if you ever want to partner up with us, we've got advertising and marketing solutions here in Southern Indiana and beyond. And we can be your Southern Indiana megaphone. Just email me, Ben, at extolmag.com, or Jason at extolmag.com. Or if you just have a weather question, give me a shout there at benextol mag.com. And there are a lot of ways to watch our program, extolmag.com/weather. We've got you hooked up there with the live stream every Monday through Friday. There it is. Subscribe, like our YouTube channel, then you'll get alerted when we're on live. And it might not just be Ben at 10, Monday through Friday. It may be severe weather, where we're on for hours covering the severe weather potential. Or maybe we're just posting a daily forecast. So we've got a lot of content on our YouTube channel, Extol Media. So search that in YouTube, and then thanks for subscribing to our channel, getting those numbers up there. Thanks for tuning in to my page, Meteorologist Ben Peine, or Extol Weather on Facebook. All good follows there for you. And that is basically going to sum it up. So thanks again for watching here on this hump day, August the 6th. All right, no more comments. I just want you guys to have a great day, great rest of your week. We'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. And actually, not the same place. We are going live out at Ivy Tech Sellersburg tomorrow morning, so tune in for that. We'll learn more about everything happening out there on the campus. All right, have a great day, guys. We will see you later, and we'll see you tomorrow morning. Oh, we got a couple other comments that we'll wrap up with here. Thank you, Ben, and Vicky Berger. We'll wrap it up with, have a great day.